Welcome to Sharp Business, where we want you to be the game changer. And today on our topic, we'll be discussing about youth and business. Knowing that the youth are the highest in population, there is need to keep them in the forefront when we think about business. And today on our set, we have Mr. Josiah Jeru, who is the principal, Kirinyaga Institute of Professional Studies. Mr. Josiah, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You can introduce yourself.
My name is Josiah Jeru Mwangi. I'm a principal of Kirinyaga Institute of Professional Studies. I'm a lecturer at Kipps College. I have done degree in information technology. I'm also a director of JOSGEM Enterprise Limited. Thank you, Mike, for giving me this chance to be in this studio as we share the challenges affecting youths.
And to kick off on our interview, we ask, why do most of the youths prefer being employed rather than starting a business or being self-employed?
Okay, number one, our education system, that's 844, from our parents, they always encourage their children to aim white-collar job rather than business jobs. Why? Because there is no entrepreneurial skills from the word go. They want to be associated with big names. My daughter, she's a doctor. My son is a nurse. So now with that, they hide young people venturing in self-employment.
So the current education system is a key why the youth prefer being employed rather than self-employment, in that they go to school for grades, to score high so that you can get an employment at a big organization or to get a big job.
Yes, because you realize that our parents, they are taking their children into very expensive school, aiming that their children should get a very good grade. They score A, and then from that point, they will be proud. Also, the children will be proud when they're introducing themselves in the public. I'm a banker, I'm a manager. So those titles. And also, they tend to think that a white-collar job is well paid, and also that prestige. There's no risk. Like in business, there's a lot of risk. You can lose your business, but a job, you are sure that by the end of every month, you get your salary. So there's job security.
Okay, then that, with regard to education, is the education a must when starting a business?
Okay, education is very necessary simply because if you don't have skills or knowledge, you can't start a business. For example, if you want to start a business right now, you must have the ideas, how to generate ideas. So to generate these ideas, you should have at least technical knowledge on how to go about it. Because we have three categories when starting a business. You must understand personal trait, you must also understand business trait, and also you must understand technical traits. So to differentiate all those categories, one, you must have education.
What level of education is required is the basic one and the best to start a business?
Okay, to start a business, okay, it will depend with the individuals, because we realize that some people, they have not even gone even up to colleges or university, but they are good business people. Because once you understand yourself, once you understand your strength, once you understand your weakness, and then you can move on. So we normally say big, start small, and then start now. So when it comes to the issue of business, those tactics does not matter whether you have a degree or not. The idea is, do you have will to start a business?
Then you've said that there is the personal issue, business and technical.
Personal traits.
The personal traits, which are these traits?
So these are personal traits like you must be open-minded. Number two, you must be creative. You must be innovative. Because in the current world of business, there's a lot of competition. So if you're not innovative, if you're not creative, I'm assuring you, your business, you're not going to pick very well. Also, you should have a self-discipline. Because without discipline in any business, be assured you can't go far. Then also the issue of commitment. You must be committed. Because if you are not committed into a business, you can open anytime you think. By the end of the day, the customer, they will lack confidence in you. Also, we can talk about you must do a lot of research. You must do a lot of research for you to proceed. Also, the ability to manage money is also very key of personal traits, because you realize that some businessmen, they take all the stock, they think that they have a lot of money instead of plowing back that money. So the ability to control the profit is very important.
So if I may ask, does passion belong to a personal trait? The passion of having over something.
Yeah, a passion, we have so many personal traits. There are many. Honest, there are many. So passion is whereby you have that will to start a business. So when you have that will, you will be a risk taker. Because if there is no passion, you can't really take a risk. Like, to be here, I'm to start a college, I took a risk to start a business. So to become a risk taker, you must have that will to start a business.
Then, when starting a business, you might have the passion, but you lack the skills. How do you manage that?
Okay, you might have
the passion.
You have a passion,
but the skills.
But you don't have the skills. Okay, we normally encourage young people. You should look for a mentor. A mentor is maybe another businessman who is maybe your relative or a close friend. You can borrow ideas. Maybe I want to start a business, I want to start a college. Where do I start? So I may not have those skills, but my mentor will give me the advice, the way forward on how to go about it, the requirements, and then from that point, I'll kick. So even if I don't have the skill as I start, my mentor will guide me on how to go about it. At the same time, you can also read. You can also read from the magazine, from India. You can also even import ideas. So even if you don't have those skills we are talking about, by the end of the day, when you have that will, and you have a good mentor, be assured you are going to achieve your goal.
Then there was this trait of business trait.
Okay, business traits is like, as a businessman, you must have the traits like research. How do you do your research? How do you do your marketing? Because you must have a marketing plan. You must have a marketing department. How do you go about it? How to relate even with your customers. So those are now the business traits. How to manage the management skills on how even to manage even the other employees.
Then there was the technical.
So technical traits. For example, if I'm dealing with IT, because I'm an IT expert. If I want to venture in a field of IT, and maybe I'm not very versed with it, so my clients, they will tend to think that I'm not an expert because they will ask me some terms which I don't know. So it's always advisable. If you want to venture in any business, make sure that at least you have a knowledge about that sector you want to venture in. So that's what we call technical trait. Because customer, they will say that even if I give this youth this business, he will not perform simply because does not have those skills, technical skills. So technical skills, they are very important in all businesses.
That brings me back to the issue of passion, where you may have passion but lack skills. Then, for example, you have the passion in IT, but you are not able to attend any school. Then you want to venture into IT. What can that person do?
So an entrepreneur is not a master, you are an expert in that field, but you can hire someone, you can employ a manager. Who is a manager? A manager is a person who, or you can hire a specialist in that field. So you'll be, I will employ a manager in IT, or I employ a manager in sales and marketing department. So I'm the director. So when I want to make a business, I involve those guys on the ground. They will negotiate on my behalf, but my company is mine. So by the end of the day, as long as you have working capital, you will be able to penetrate in the market because you have the right people on the ground. Because I have seen, it's not a must. Even if I want to have a clinic, or I want to have a hotel like this one, I don't have to have done hospitality and the rest. No, I require managers who are specialists in that field, and then I will involve them and I will get them in my company.
You have mentioned something about the capital. Sometimes the youths find that the capital is too high for them to afford, which is the right amount of capital that one should have so that to kick off a business, e.g. an IT one.
There is no specific amount, because I have said that earlier. I normally encourage young people. They should think big, start small, and then start now. Even if I have 1,000, I can start a business. 2,000 they can start, 100,000 they can start. It will depend on your selecting a business, and you don't have that huge capital I'm talking about. For example, if I have a computer right now in my office or laptop and I have internet, I can start my own Kasaiba even at home. So if one KRI pin, I can process KRI pin at 200 Kenya shillings. So if we have about 10 clients, you get about 1,000 that day. So you can imagine within 30 days you have 30,000. So it does not matter how much. There's no specific working capital. So it will depend with your creativity. And I have done this one in my school when I was teaching an entrepreneur class. I started a small business in my place at Jos Gem as a sample, and I spent 2,000, and it really worked with 2,000, and I was getting a profit of I think 400 shillings per day up to now. A very simple business with 2,000 Kenya shillings, and they said, no, it's not possible, Mwalim. I told them, let us do it practically, and we did it. So it does not matter how much do you have. The idea is you have that will, and then be creative.
Some of the business people do start a business after maybe you have been fired, maybe you have been after a discouragement on something, and then they don't look whether they are when starting a business, you should consider whether there is market. Some don't consider that. What advice can you give to them?
Okay, before you start a business, you must you should come up with an ideas. You should identify the market niche or the need. Then you should also take your time. You do a lot of research before, even if you are stressed, even if you are sacked from your employment, you should do a research. Then you can also import an idea. You should also interact with your friends about business ideas. Also, you should read from books and magazine and internet. At the same time, you should know the gap. So you can start a business in Kilowea without identifying the gap. So number one, identify the gap. When you identify the gap, now you can start that business. Because most of the guys, they have closed their business simply because they have money, they stock the business without identifying the gap. So once you identify the gap, like now in my place, Jos Gem, I have identified a gap in the internet. In Kirinyaga County, we don't have a reliable internet. So now I have started fiber internet. I'm calling it fiber mashinani, fiber mkononi. So now that one, there is a good business in that, because there is no one has fiber internet. So once you identify the gap, be assured you get a good profit, and you'll be the first person to enjoy that profit. The competition will be very minimal.
We are going to have a short break and we'll be back after a moment. Stay tuned.
Pillar TV, shaping your destiny.
Welcome back to Sharp Business. We are still on the topic on youth at business. And to continue, you started a college known as Kirinyaga Institute of Professional Studies in Kerugoya after coming out from the Cathedral College. What inspired you to start this college in Kerugoya, not at any other place?
Okay, number one, when I was in Cathedral, I was still a principal. I wanted to propagate my knowledge, especially in Kenya County, because I'm well known. I have built a good relationship with my students and the parents. So I have a good name, I have a good reputation. At the same time, I want to become boss on my own. I want to have a financial freedom, because when I'm working in that college, I have some restrictions. You should not do this, you should not do this. But when I become boss on my own, I have employed myself, and also I have employed others. So my mind is that it was set that I want to become a businessman full time, where I have my own freedom, where I can do my own stuffs and inspire many youths.
Then your college has started as an ICT college,
Yeah.
and then there is this technology has been modernized day by day. How has it impacted the youth on business?
Okay, number one, you need to be well informed. One thing, that's my field. IT is my field. As I said earlier, I have done degree in information, in BSc Information Technology. So I understand this field better. So what we normally do, as we teach those ICT courses, one thing we are guided by the Ministry of Education. At the same time, we also do a lot of research to ensure that we are well connected with what's going on in the market. For example, right now we have this we have online jobs. We are encouraging youths to do those businesses because there is no working capital. The working capital is very minimal because you can work at home. You are not paying any rent. You are not paying even the license, and they are not paying because per page. They understand that those online lighting jobs, per page they are paid about 400 Kenya shillings. So if you multiply 400 times 10 pages per day, that's about 4,000. So you can imagine 4,000 times 30 days. That's how much? That's about
120,000.
About 120,000. That's a good salary. So I advise my students to venture in technology area because it's very paying. It's very paying.
So basically, those who are in business, they can use the ICT to market what they have got.
They can incorporate their business in technology. One, marketing. When you market using social media, for example, a Facebook. So you just write, my name is Josiah Jero. I'm dealing with this company, Just Gem Enterprise Limited. I'm selling laptops, and we have a special offer. And it's costing you are using your mobile phone to do marketing. But now when you go aloud here, you want to advertise through media, you pay a lot of money. But you can use your mobile phone. You just put a bundle of maybe 10 shillings, and you share with your friends the kind of business you are doing. And you get so many customers. I have seen guys selling shoes, selling clothes online, and they are getting money.
Okay, then there is the youth fund. The funds which are set aside by the government targeting to the youth, women, and people with disabilities. Can you explain to the youth with some of these funds?
So we have, you have ways of fund. We have ways of fund. But for you to get that ways of fund, there is a requirement. Number one, you must be, the youths must be, you must register yourself with the social services. So you must, for you to be registered with social services, there is a procedure you are supposed to follow. Number one is group formation. Group formation, it should be from 5 to 15 youths. 5 to 15 youths, Then you come up with a constitution. So in that constitution, it will entail mission, vision, the objective of that of that group. Then also you share the responsibility. Who will be the chair? You do election. Who will be the chair, and the rest. Then after that, you go to the now social services. You register that organization. I think you pay only 1,000. Then from that, you must open a bank. You should have a bank account. You open a bank account. At the same time, you must also operate that group for about 6 months for you to qualify to get this loan. And then you should come up with a way of come up with the business ideas. So then the government you be given that money. So now after getting that money, they go gradually. For example, you get 50,000. After maybe 6 months, you repay that amount. Then you get 100,000. Then you get 150,000 after you refund. And I have seen so many youths, they have grown with the Weso Fund. So it is possible, it is there. It's only that they don't have the education or the technical ideas on how to go about it. But when you go to the social services, they will be directed on how to go about it, how to register a group. And currently, the government, they are encouraging young people to form groups. Because the government is not, right now, it's not helping an individual. But when you are a group, you can go far. You can start in a small business, and the government is here to support you. And also, the government, they have that control. And also the charges, they are very minimal. Because to register a company, it will cost you about that K, your 50,000. You require memo, you require your lawyer, and the rest. But to register in the social services, it's only 1,000.
Then maybe the youth fear this, they don't go for these funds because they think that maybe the interests are too high. Maybe if you don't pay, the government will do a follow-up on you. What may be the interest of these funds?
So the only fear with those loans is the repayment period. So for example, you are given 300,000 today. Then after a month, you are supposed to, you must pay the first installment of 25,000 or 30,000. And you have not even sold even one item. So by the end of the day, you can close your business. But if you can be given a grace period, you are given maybe 50,000, you are given the grace period, you should pay this loan after maybe a period of 6 months. So it means that one is going to encourage youths to take those loans. But the grace period is only for 30 days. So 30 days, you're not paid even the license, you are not even advertised yourself. So most of the youths, they fear that.
Also, there are some youths who have formed these groups, but when they take the money, some members disappear. It leaves others paying. Do you think that that might be another cause for others not to think of going for the funds?
So there's something I said earlier. For you to become, or not to qualify to become a good entrepreneur, you must have personal traits. So number one, that's discipline. When you have a self-discipline, be assured when you get that money, 50,000, you are going to use that money for you to, you repay that money and you get a good profit. So when they don't have that commitment, they won't get that money just for the sake of getting the money. Because I have seen some youths, they get that money, about 300,000, and then you find that you are buying a mobile phone, you are buying nice clothes, instead of throwing that money in your business. So now, that one, that's why you are always advised when you are starting a group, you must select a serious people. You should select youths in that group, youths who can add value in that group. So if you realize that there is a youth who is not adding value in that group, then you should take an action before it's too late.
Still on the government, you find that when you're starting a business, you should have maybe a business permit. But you find that most of the youth just start a business, a company, but they don't go for these documentation. Sometimes there was even an instance where a company was started and ran for a duration, and then the KRA knew about it, but they found out that they have not paid any tax. What are some of these documentation and procedure that should be followed before you start a business?
Okay, currently the government, they have made the work easier for the young people because they are giving them 30% when it comes to the issue of procurement. There is 30%. They are calling it a young book. It's meant for youths, women, and also people with physically challenged. So the requirement, they are very minimal because you need to have your ID, then you do search for a business name. For example, Just Gem Enterprise Limited. When you have business name, you have ID, we have KRI PIN, and then you have tax compliance. That one now you qualify. Then you open a bank account. You qualify to start a business. The other thing with the other percent, there is no that experience. You will not be asked for experience because we have 30% and you have 70%. 70% is for people who are 35 years and above. But the other percent, even if you have opened your account today, you have not operated that account more than 3 months, be assured the government is going to give you money. So number one, I have said, I will repeat very fast. I have said number one, you should come up with a business name. You should have a national ID that should be 18 years and above. Also, you should have KRI PIN, tax compliance, and then you go to Huduma Center. You apply for business, and it's free. It asks you a very minimal money.
Okay, then there are the challenges which face the people in business, not only the youths. Maybe you can highlight some of these challenges and how someone can overcome them.
So number one, okay, we have so many factors affecting a businessman, including me. Number one is financial constraint, financial problem. Because right now, when you go to the bank, you want to borrow for a loan. Currently, the things are not going well. You will be asked, you require a collateral. A collateral to be like a logo book, title. So a young people who is 18 years or 19 years, you ask him for a logo book or for a title, be assured that we are chasing them away. So there is a problem with our financial institutions. They are asking for collaterals. Initially, they were asking items, come up on a radio, they do those, but currently they are asking for those two collaterals. That is logo book and titles. But I can advise businessmen, they can enroll to SACCOs. Because SACCOs is very easy to access loan. You require just to open an account in SACCOs. After opening an account in SACCO, you run that account for 3 months, and then you start saving. So you start saving. So if you have a saving of that 1,000, it will depend on the organization. With the SACCO, it will be multiplied by 3. So if you have that 1,000 times 3, that is 90K. So you have a working capital of 90,000. And by the end of 12 months, you get a dividend. So SACCO is the way to go when you come out to financial assistance. Also, we have skills challenges, lack of proper management, lack of those technical skills I was talking about. We have so many challenges in business. Government also, they are imposing taxes. Like now in internet, they are imposing 15%. They're also imposing 16%. That's 1%. That's a lot of money. So the government requirements is making business people get it very hard to start a business. Even people, they are quitting from the business. Also, the government, especially the county government, currently they are frustrating contractors or vendors. You supply items worth $1 million, then you stay for 6 months, you're not being paid, or a year. So, and then the bank will come and auction your items.
Time is not our side. I would ask, what is your last word to the youths as we finish this show? So,
to the youths, I can advise them, they can venture in the technology field because they can do online shopping without leaving their desk. They can also do online lighting at their home. they can market their items, and the charges are very minimal. So I would advise them to venture in ICT field, and they will not regret, because I'm one of them. I have made it. It is possible. Let us think big, youths. Think big, start small, and start now. And be assured there's nothing impossible in this world. When you come to a business, have the passion, know your strength, know your weakness, and by the end of the day, you're going to become a victor in this field.
Thank you for finding time to join us. We will invite you some other time to discuss more on business-related topics. Thank you for keeping 8 Pillar TV, and until next time, I was your host, Michael Katimu.